Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mild's Culture Plate. I am your host, Mild Kevin Miles. It is Wednesday, April 19th, 2023, 6 p.m. Wednesday, right here, Mild's Culture Plate. You've tuned in. So to start out, we got the whiskey of the day, going back to one of my favorites, Southern Oklahoma's own Hochatown Distilling Company Small Batch Select Straight Bourbon. Gonna go ahead and pour myself a little bit extra because I want to start off the show remembering lots of lives lost in lots of American tragedies. From the 15 lives lost in the Columbine Massacre to the 80 or so lives lost at Waco and 168 people in the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. Needless to say, April 19th and 20th are anniversaries in the United States to tragedy and loss. These tragedies have also been used to empower the government against its people. And in particularly, the siege at Waco was a government-directed tragedy. And the Oklahoma City bombing, there are still people waiting for answers to unanswered questions about their loved ones' lives being lost, about things that didn't add up about the government narrative, about things that were reported by the media in the first few days while first responders were still searching for bodies through the rubble. And the two men who were brought to justice weren't the end of that story. And I would strongly advise everyone out there to research all three of these American tragedies a lot deeper, to look into some of the backstories on the horrific men who were responsible for the Oklahoma City bombing, to look into exactly what our government did during the siege of Waco and all of the different tactics they rolled out in order to bring down someone they suspected of maybe not reporting some of the things they purchased. So, on that note, I'm going to have just a moment of silence followed by a toast. To the lives lost in American tragedy. Cheers. All right. On that note, I'm going to move a little bit forward. There are a lot of news stories that I don't care much to cover in depth. First off, I saw that there may be some tornadoes headed to southern Oklahoma. So, to any of my friends, family, whoever, southern Oklahoma, northern Texas, I wish you safety. And, I pray for, a pretty quiet night. For everyone else, Wow, what a week. What a week. So first off, we've got a huge settlement in the Fox News defamation case. Fox essentially settled. They if you're not familiar, Dominion voting machine systems sued Fox News, claiming that there were inaccurate and blatant lies in their coverage of the 2020 election in regards to the role of Dominion voting machines. And Fox had several guests on who would repeat certain claims about the way Dominion voting machines behaved. And those claims turned out to be either far-fetched, inaccurate. From what I understand, there were people on the Fox News staff who were questioning the validity before even allowing these things to air. And so, rightly so, they have been, they were sued. And now, in order to get out of, an endless barrage of a very public trial and a lot of questions that would be asked about the staff of Fox News, what they do, what they know, how they operate. So Fox said, no, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quarter, I've heard a quarter to a third of their yearly income as a corporation and settle this thing and go ahead and put an end to it. I don't really have much of an opinion other than, it's as a media outlet, as a news source, you have to be super careful about what you report as news versus what you report as opinion. And, from what I understand, and I very clearly state on my show several times that what I report here on this channel is my understanding of things. They are not facts. But there's not a whole lot I can get into on this without pushing some boundaries of YouTube, because YouTube don't like when people talk about election irregularities. And, well, definitely the situation got Fox in a lot of trouble. The Fox situation, I think, was a very small part. The thing that got Fox in trouble was in my opinion, a very small part of concerns that people had. I know it's YouTube's policy that the 2020 election was completely fair and accurate and honest, and and you can have faith in our electoral processes. Sorry, my phone was buzzing there. Anyway, so how have you folks been? This has been tax week. As I said the other day, if you're not familiar, I've been doing my Saturday shows over on Rumble. If you're curious, the link is down in the description of this video to my Rumble channel. You can find a link there and go over and watch my older streams on Rumble. That's where I keep my archive, and that's where I've been live streaming on Saturdays. And, once again, I will repeat what I said Saturday, in that I hope all of you had finished your tax return and are getting back some of your government theft, and that they're not taking too much from you, and that you're able to make those payments without too much disruption to your household income. So, let's see. There's that. It has now come out. News story that broke today that, a lot of celebrities got wrapped up in the whole advertisement and promotion of the FTX crypto scandal. However, let me go ahead and bring this up for you folks. Sorry, window needs resize just a little bit. All right, so here we go. However, Taylor Swift did not. She was offered $100 million FTX sponsorship, and this is from Business Insider, but did not sign because she was the only one who asked about unregistered securities. Tom Brady and Stephen Curry are being sued for endorsing the now bankrupt crypto exchange. So Taylor Swift avoided signing a $100 million sponsorship deal with FTX because she's the only celebrity to question the crypto exchange, according to a lawyer handling a class action lawsuit against several FTX promoters. Adam Moskowitz appeared on the Scoop podcast to discuss the lawsuit and said the plaintiffs are seeking over $5 billion from FTX's celebrity endorsers, including Shaquille O'Neal, Tom Brady, and Larry David. The lawyer alleged that the celebrities did not do their due diligence to check whether FTX was breaking the law. The one person I found that did that was Taylor Swift. Adding that Swift pulled out of the deal and never promoted the now bankrupt exchange. The singer, whose father used to work for Merrill Lynch, began discussing the $100 million tour sponsorship with FTX in the fall of 21, per Financial Times. The terms including selling tickets as NFTs, although FTX marketing staff told the Times that no one really liked the deal and they thought it was too expensive from the beginning. Come on. Wait a minute. Now, seriously, Taylor Swift is the biggest pop star of this current generation. $100 million to Taylor Swift to utilize her celebrity and her touring to move your assets, to swindle people into your Ponzi scheme and your pyramid scheme. Come on. In our discovery, Taylor Swift actually asked them, "Can you tell me that these are not unregistered securities?" Moskowitz said. A security is a tradable asset that holds value like a stock or a bond. All securities that are offered and sold in the U.S. must be registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. In a complaint against FTX executives last December, the SEC said the company's cryptocurrency FTT is classified as a security because it was sold as an investment contract. It was not appropriately registered, however. The lawsuit therefore accuses the celebrities of promoting an unregistered security and seeks to recover damages for customers who lost money after FTX filed for bankruptcy last November. In order to induce confidence to drive consumers to invest in what was ultimately a Ponzi scheme, the suit claims that the defendants made numerous misrepresentations and omissions. The crypto exchange imploded last November after concerns that a commingling of funds with its sister firm Alameda led to mass customer withdrawals. It did not have enough money to fulfill that demand, partly due to lavish spending and a $65 billion line of credit, lawyers said. Wow. And, of course, Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested, faces over 100 years of prison if found guilty of charges including securities fraud, money laundering, and bribery. Representatives for Taylor Swift did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Business Insider. The spokesman for Bankman-Fried also declined to comment. So there you have it. The biggest pop star of our generation actually did her due diligence before endorsing a fucking Ponzi scheme. You know, a lot of celebrities take part in this cultural phenomenon, the dumbing down of our culture, the being too stupid to understand economics, the being too stupid to understand investment deals. And Taylor Swift, of all of them, was able to dodge the bullet of anyone. You know, Tom Brady. You know, one would think Tom Brady would have to be a marketing guru. Now I wouldn't say genius, but guru of some sort. You know, to have lasted as long as he has in it's sports, but it's entertainment. You know, he definitely he sells jerseys. He sells merch. Uh, he sells tickets. He puts butts in seats. And so for Tom Brady to not have dodged that bullet, to not understand securities and unregistered securities and you know, to not have questions about a crypto platform, you know, crypto's new. You got to do your due diligence. You got to do your research. And when I say new, I mean relatively new. I mean, crypto's been around a while now, but, you know, the fact that Tom Brady is the type that got sucked in, and yet Taylor Swift is the type who did her due diligence and research. You look, I don't know if I would have been smart enough if I were a celebrity to do my due diligence and research. But let this be a lesson. Let Taylor Swift be a lesson for all celebrities to be careful to what you're endorsing, because this class action lawsuit could have been devastating. So, yep. Let's see. What were some other news stories that we had? I forgot. I had like three or four of them I wanted to talk about, and I've spent my brain on two of them. There are the two wrong house shootings, and again, I'm gonna forget the names of the victims already, even though one of them happened not very far from where I work. Um, and quite frankly, okay, so let's bring out fucking. Okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. I almost brought up CNN, but no. So in Kansas City, the one in Kansas City was an African American young man named Ralph Yarl, who the media reported went to the wrong house to pick up his siblings, and at which time the 84-year-old homeowner Andrew Lester answered the door, and again, some media reports have conflicted a little bit as to what happened next, but ultimately, Mr. Lester began firing a weapon, shooting Ralph Yarl in the head, and I believe in his leg. Ralph Yarl currently is alive, fighting for his life in the hospital, and so, you know, prayers go out to him. Where's the other one? The other one was a young woman, upstate New York, Kaylin Gillis, turned down the wrong street and was going to use the driveway to turn around. Let's see here. Okay, 65-year-old Kevin Monahan, who neighbors have reported was very protective about his property. and very aggravated at trespassers. And so Gillis was driving with a car full of friends when she realized she turned down the wrong street, pulled into Kevin Monahan's driveway in order to turn around, at which time he came out on his porch and began firing at the car. One of them hit and killed Kaylin Gillis, who was 20 years old. Yeah. So, you know, another moment of silence for two victims of senseless shootings. I know there are going to be people out there who may disagree with me thinking that the Kansas City shooting was a tragedy. Some people have asserted that it may have been an instance of the young man trying to get into the guy's house, at which point he would be within his rights to defend himself against a home invasion. So far, I have not heard anything that corroborates that the young man tried to get into the house. So at this moment, I'm going to consider it a tragedy. And, I definitely hope that young man recovers. And so, here's to life. Be careful, because both of these men in their 60s are now facing serious jail time, facing serious jail sentences. We have a right to protect our property, but that right has to be asserted in a rational manner. Shooting at people pulling into your driveway or knocking on your door, these aren't people who are those simple acts, those are acts like your mailman has to sometimes knock on your door or pull into your driveway, and you can't, you gotta use your head. So be careful when utilizing your Second Amendment, because it's not. It's not a blank slate to shoot anyone who dares cross you. Anyway, so that's what I have for the day. I don't really, don't really have a whole lot else to cover. Because like I said, these news stories, they're big news stories, but there's not a whole lot to say about them. There are definitely some LawTube people out there who have spent a lot of time breaking down the Dominion versus Fox case, and for example, last night, Good Logic, Joe Neerman of Good Logic, if you want a real good breakdown of all of the ins and outs of that, go follow him. Go listen to his video on that, because quite frankly, the legal process, the ins and outs of it, I don't have much of an opinion on. I don't think this is going to cripple Fox News. I don't think this is going to somehow embolden Dominion to become, some bigger corporate conglomerate. I don't see that this has a lasting effect on our society. Now, one thing I will say is Fox still has another lawsuit out there from Smartmatic. So they had to be careful about what information reached the public. So yeah, that's that. Why don't we go ahead and so we're almost halfway through today's show. And I guess we're going to kill a little time playing Shorts Roulette. How about that? Oh, yeah, that's one thing. Oh, those are two news stories I didn't cover. Okay, I just read I read the title of my own video and realized I forgot two important news stories. Okay, so let's do this. Let's bring up... Okay, now once again, this is not me. I'm not this news source. I'm merely reporting. I'm merely passing along. What in the world? Here we go. Okay. I've got my windows all screwed up. Sorry. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up. The UN report, this is liveaction.org. UN report calls for decriminalization of all sexual activity, including between adults and children. First off, decriminalization of all sexual activity. Here, let me see here. Let's open up this. Okay. UN AIDS. Oh, this is AIDS. Okay. New legal principles launched on International Women's Day to advance decriminalization efforts. 8th March principles, as they're called, lay out human rights-based approach to laws criminalizing conduct in relation to sex, drug, HIV, sexual reproductive health, homeless, and poverty. Criminal law is among the harshest tools at the disposal of the state to exert control over individuals. We must acknowledge that these laws not only violate human rights, but the fundamental principles of the law of criminal law themselves. Blah blah blah. Stakeholders. Continued overuse of criminal law by governments. In some cases, arbitrary and discriminatory criminal laws have led to a number of human rights violations. They also perpetuate stigma, harmful gender stereotypes, and discrimination based on such grounds as gender or sexual orientation. Uh, 67 countries, or 20 countries criminalize or otherwise prosecute transgender people. 67 countries still criminalize same-sex sexual activity. 115 report criminalizing drug use. More than 130 criminalize HIV exposure, non-disclosure, and transmission. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. Today is an opportunity for all of us to think about power and male-dominated systems. I'm glad you've done this work. We need to use it, and we need to use it also in a much more political context when it comes to precisely counter these power dynamics. Frankly, we need to ask these questions and make sure they're part and parcel going forward. What human rights means. When sex work is criminalized, it sends the message that sex workers can be abused. We are human beings and sex workers are entitled to all human rights. Okay, so there was that. That's not the document I saw. Wait, did I skip over a part? While on the surface it may seem relatively uncontroversial, the report calls for sex between adults and minors to be decriminalized so long as the minors consent. With respect to the enforcement of criminal law, any prescribed minimum age of consent to sex must be applied in a non-discriminatory manner. Enforcement may not be linked to the sex, gender of participants, age of consent to marriage. Moreover, sexual conduct involving persons below the domestically prescribed minimum age of consent to sex may be consensual, in fact, if not in law. In this context, the enforcement of criminal law should reflect the rights and capacity of persons under 18 years of age to make decisions about engaging in consensual sexual contact and their right to be heard in matters concerning them. So that's what... Let me open something else here. Okay, here we go. This is the document that I saw, I believe. Principle 16, consensual sexual conduct, page 22. So I'm just covering my bases that this is actually oh, this is page 8. They're page 18. Okay, so consensual sexual contact. Okay, so here we go. This is sexual conduct involving persons below the domestically prescribed minimum age of consent. So there's that, and then so the last page is from the International Commission of Jurists. So this is the International Commission of Jurists. This isn't necessarily the UN. This is the International Commission of Jurists, but it's being promoted by the UN on this UN AIDS page as the 8th of March principles. Yeah, so this is straight from a link on their website to the IJC, stating that kids can consent, which is disgusting. It is disgusting. Okay. So there's one thing I have to say to that. Right here. This meme right here. It explains everything. This meme explains everything. It's not rocket science, guys. They're just evil and want to diddle kids. You know, some of the things they're saying about law, I get it, right? There's the Romeo and Juliet laws, right? And a lot of states are passing certain types of Romeo and Juliet law, decriminalizing sexual interaction between similar aged minors, because, it's not pedophilia if you're both 16, right? And look, I will admit, I was under 18 when I got my then under 18 girlfriend pregnant. I understand that young folks are going to do these types of things. But the idea that a minor can consent with an adult, The idea that we need to change laws because children can consent. Well, no, we've made the law 18, and look, the age of consent varies from state to state. But the idea that an adolescent becomes an adult with the ability to make consenting choices in various aspects of their lives. The idea that they can be held responsible. It's an important milestone in our culture. Because if we don't have the innocence of youth, the idea, and look, we've got, children that can be tried as adults if they've committed a crime dangerous and harmful enough. We have juvenile detention facilities, but overall, the understanding is that minors are too young and too innocent to understand crossing the line of a law. For the most part, their responsibility to adhere to society's rules, the weight of that is put upon their parents so that they have time to understand and grow and recognize their participation in society. No, they don't have the ability to consent. And I would argue that in many cases, people in their 20s don't fully understand the ramifications of their sexual behavior. So I think, 16 to 18, that's about right. Anything younger than that, you're fucking ridiculous. You're gross. Nobody under 16 should be sexualized. And it's quite unfortunate that this is being painted as a sexual freedom under an oppressive governmental kind of thing. Like the idea that the UN would promote such a report that would include such a thing. Now, I understand, some of the other things they're talking about in there, some of the HIV stuff. Now, granted, hell yes, it should be illegal to infect other people with potentially deadly illnesses knowingly. Yes, that should be illegal, in my opinion. So, yeah, there are a lot of things I don't agree with in that report, but, I get it. There are a lot of countries out there who want to oppress gay people, etc. Who want to, I am of an understanding that anal sex is banned in many countries. And technically in many states of the United States, but they don't really enforce such things. And there is an element of sexual freedom, of romantic freedom, that we will never get a full understanding of because of the way laws are written. Laws aren't there to understand your romance. Laws aren't there to understand the ways in which human beings love. Laws aren't there to understand what a family really is. At best, they can estimate and then provide, carrot and stick, benefit or hindrance to any behavior that could be attached to such relationships. I'm not a fan of government getting involved. But when you're talking about children, or when you're talking about diseases spreading, and now I'm going to be very careful in saying that HIV is a very different situation from COVID-19. HIV can be controlled without infringing on people's rights. You can take steps to not knowingly spread HIV without infringing on your basic human rights. And the idea that, no, we just need to throw that away because, they're people too. Sure, maybe. Maybe not. I'm sympathetic to your unfortunate situation. But that doesn't give you the right to infect other people against their knowledge or will. Period. Now, gonna go back to Twitter here. Because I want you to hear something.
Dioxide, our city.
Oh, here, hang on. Let me bring this up. Okay. The final news story of the day. Here is New York Mayor Eric Adams. I just want you to hear what he has to say.
1 in every 5 metric tons of carbon dioxide our city emits comes from food.
Okay. I call bullshit. I call bullshit. I mean, what literally he is saying is that people eating is a problem. In a city overrun with crime, where people are poor, people might be struggling to meet their nutritional needs, this is a bold stance to take.
But all food is not created equal. The vast majority of food that is contributing to our emission crisis lies in meat and dairy products. We already know that a plant-powered diet is better for your physical and mental health, and I am living proof of that.
Oh, I am living proof of that. This fucking reeks of vegan superiority bullshit. All these smug fucking vegans out there. I am so much better than you. Ugh. Yeah.
But the reality is that thanks to this new inventory, we're finding out it is better for the planet. 1 in every...
Okay, there you have it. So yeah, Mayor Eric Adams of New York City officially wants you to give up meat and dairy and become a vegetarian for planet Earth. Because his city is emitting too much carbon dioxide due to food. Now, I don't know how many cows there are in New York City grazing in the pastures of Manhattan. But this reeks of cap and tax. The same battle we have been fighting for our freedom. The cap and tax bullshit. The idea that money is going to keep the weather from changing is insanity. On that note, gonna go to YouTube Shorts here. We're gonna play Shorts Roulette. All right. Wait, where's the sound? Oh, it's muted up here.
This morning, and that's exactly what your performance tonight reminds me of. Dude, now I understand why you're the last kid picked in the draft every season. If your goal was to blow the lead, you did a good job of it. I bet this team hopes you pitch against them every game. Tyson, if you know how to cheat, now's the time to start, all right? Let me freaking guess, your parents have you on a gluten-free diet, don't they? So, how long is the bus that you take to school? Is it like normal length, or is it like shorter?
So I would like to just be able to insult a bunch of kids. Like, that would be awesome. Maybe I should become a coach.
Jump in the backyard this morning, and that's exactly what your performance tonight.
Do you think I'd be a good youth sports coach? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. By the way, I didn't say it at the beginning of the show, but I still maintain anyone that says hi to me in the chat, either here or on Rumble, here on Wednesdays or Rumble on Saturdays, anyone that says hi, I'll give you a toast. So toast to anyone out there watching right now.
This customer comes in.
Oh, nope.
This customer comes in. He was in a long black trench coat, strapped in, and looks at the GTR Nismo. Looks at it and says, "I want that." And I'm like, "Let's move to this 370 right here." And he says, "Okay." He's like, "Can I wire you the money?" I'm like, "We don't do that here." What bank do you bank with? Fifth
Uh-oh.
Thirds or whatever he said. And, all right, what I'll do is I'll get a used car and we'll go to the bank. Like, this is all in 5 minutes. I know there's something up. So I pull around in a used Altima, and it's brown. And he gets physically angry and says, "The Altima has to be black." Whatever, at this point, good money if this goes through. So I'm like, all right, we'll pull around. I go get another black Altima. We get there uneventfully. He thinks there's $1.2 billion in his account. There's 15 cents. He starts saying there's people stealing his money, gets out a knife and starts wailing it around, trying to hit people.
So I deal with people like this almost on a daily basis. There are a lot of weirdos out there who, yeah, for one reason or another, want to blame you because they're not a movie star.
I'm sitting there like calming them down. He got arrested, but my boss called me and said, "So you're coming back into work, right?" I quit the next day. This customer.
Oh, now, why did you quit? Now, I understand. Look, somebody pulling a knife on me, that'd be fucking traumatizing, right? I'd be fucking nervous. I'd be freaked out. I'd still come to work the next. Like, what are the odds someone's going to pull a knife on you 2 days in a row? Like, come back the next day. Take a couple weeks to figure out where you're going to go. Come on now.
Where did you go to medical school? I'm sorry. That's what I thought. Why do you think you or anyone else at Twitter
I did not see this.
And sir, a doctor's expert opinion.
Our policies regarding COVID were designed to protect individuals. We were seeing
You guys censored Harvard-educated doctors, Stanford-educated doctors, doctors that are educated in the best places in the world, and you silenced those
Yeah. I mean, look.
contact you or anyone at Twitter to pressure Twitter to moderate or censor
Legal demands? What are legal demands? What legal demands? Like, were you threatened with arrest if you didn't take down content? Wow, this is an interesting video. I should have covered this committee hearing here. Okay. Yeah, I give no shit about Calvin Harris or Coachella.
This officer got called to this convenience store after a woman was seen trying to steal a hat and gloves.
Do you have stuff in your coat right now? No.
After saying she didn't, he then gave her one last opportunity to confess.
I'll give you an opportunity right now to take everything out. That's going to be your one and only opportunity.
Okay, I have a hat and gloves.
She then took them out of her jacket and told him why she was trying to steal them.
I mean, look. Fair enough. Fair enough. And again, the video title says the police officer eventually buys them. Okay. Look, it's a feel-good story, and this is like the 1% of low-income thefts out there, right? There is a popular convenience store chain in Kansas City. And over the past 5 or 6 years, and I say Kansas City, but the Midwest, they're all across the Midwest, popular convenience store chain, who recently went through dramatic overhauls of their store, reconfiguring everything. A lot of them were torn down and completely rebuilt. And the idea was they wanted to put more doors on the store. And there's one location in particular, right in the heart of Kansas City, not too far from Arrowhead Stadium, where the neighboring low-income housing complex and the homeless population that were living under the highway around the corner and camped out behind the Walmart down the street were stealing so much that they literally had to undo one of their entrances and permanently lock down one of the entrances to the store. The idea that your average shoplifter is this person looking for a coat or a hat, looking to try to stay warm. I wish that were the case. I wish we were at a point in our culture where the needy are truly needy. But again, we have, as I've stated in previous streams, we have a lot of resources. We have a lot of organizations that are on the streets trying to help these people. And unfortunately, a lot of them would rather just go steal another bottle of liquor or steal something to get their next hit of heroin or fentanyl. This is a feel-good story, and granted, I hope this woman got the hand up she needed, and I'm glad that the police officer helped her out in this situation. And I wish this was a more of what we see in America.
Oh, one time, I tried to, Sandler, Adam once, he always buys me dinner, He's just a nice guy, and his wallet's about 10 feet tall. And then he has to bend it closed. But we were all out, or I was out at dinner.
So the video title is David Spade accidentally pays for Adam Sandler's $9,000 dinner. Okay, I don't care how famous you are, dinner should never be $9,000 unless you're feeding a whole fucking tribe of people. Like, literally, you better have 20 or 30 people there eating for $9,000.
Fancy restaurant, and then they go, Mr. Sandler's here. And I go, I play it down, I go, who cares? And then when I leave, I go, hey, put this on, my Discover credit or whatever. So I charge theirs. The guy goes, sir, his whole thing? And I go, yeah. I'm on TV sometime, and what are you worried about? So he goes, sure, and I'm like, yon. Anyway, so the next day, identity guard calls me and says, someone stole your card. I go, they did? I go, yeah. There was some $9,000 dinner last night. I go, oh my God. I go, that was me. They're like, it couldn't have been. You're not that generous. I go, one time,
Oh, see, this is my problem with YouTube Shorts is that there wasn't a payoff. We didn't get to hear, like, what Adam Sandler could have possibly ordered that cost $9,000. I mean, obviously, David was in the same restaurant, and he wasn't expecting a $9,000 bill. What could Adam Sandler have possibly purchased at that restaurant that cost $9,000? Okay, here we go. Here's another feel-good. I guess because I spent so long hovering over the last one, now YouTube's algorithm's going to feed me more feel-good homeless stories. Now, I want you to look very closely. Can you see very closely at this person? They've got sores on their face. It doesn't look like they have an undershirt. They might have tattoos. I'm not sure. And I'm not trying to judge.
Let's look for somewhere. How old are you, man? What's your name?
23.
Hamza, let's look. How long have you been homeless for? Until 16. You want to go? This is all you can eat. All you can eat, kaka. Sushi. What do you usually like to eat for sushi? I don't know sushi very well. That's wasabi. I'm a full-time.
So it's a little creepy that this guy's filming this homeless guy eating like it's fucking National Geographic. You know, it's like, you know, we're the Nature Channel watching this wild wildebeest fucking feast on a fucking wild turkey or something. No, this is a human being. And, you know, while I have my own criticisms of this human being, like, it's fucking creepy.
I'm a emergency nurse. I'm working right now. Go back to school for one thing. What would you go back to school for? Engineering. It's a lot, but yeah. What motivates you in life? My mom recovered from cancer, so that's good. Yeah, man, that's amazing, man. She was mentally ill. Feel better, man? Yeah. So what advice you can give to yourself, what would it be? Choose my friends wisely. I'm gonna leave you off with some money.
Choose my friends wisely. Now there you go. There's someone on the street who has some fucking street smarts. Now again, I don't know how smart he is. I don't know his situation, and again, as much judgment as I have, you know, I give people somewhat the benefit of the doubt. But that choose your friends wisely is an important part. Because, look, when I was a teenager, I was addicted to drugs for a while. And really, it was who I was hanging out with. Who my friends were. And it's like, when you go visit a friend, and there's literally just drugs on the table, and you just do them. Like, that's your environment. You chose to be in that environment. And eventually, like, I became an introvert. And at some point in my life, like, I no longer had druggy friends. It was literally, I just switched from this environment to this environment. And I got involved in politics, and I made new friends that were clean. Like, I literally was just like, I didn't know where to find drugs anymore. It's amazing, the choose your friends thing. Anyway.
Okay? Remember, there's good people in the world, right? But you gotta be good to yourself first, and you gotta be willing to make the change.
Gotta be willing to make a change. And, you know, it'd be nice to have a follow-up to that video. It'd be nice to know what the guy did with the money. Like I said, I think it's creepy filming him while he was eating. But, you know, they were having a conversation too, so I guess there's some documentary value in that. Anyway, let's see this here. Okay, so just randomly walking down a busy fucking city street throwing balls at people. Come on now. Yeah, I don't approve of this. I mean, it's an interesting video. I think it's an interesting for online content. But come on. You're literally assaulting people. You're fucking throwing shit at them. Oh, failed. Oh, you just hit a cop. Arrest his ass. Arrest his ass. Ah, bullshit. Anyway. What is this fucking Calvin Harris Coachella shit? That's the second one. Why do I give a shit about what teams people like? Oh, I love this. I love this clip. Look, if someone knows what movie this clip is from, please let me know.
Excuse me. Some of us would like to order.
I love that clip. I've seen that clip like all over the internet.
All right. Who invented the radio?
Okay, now we're getting movie clips.
Privilege in operation?
Here we go. Okay, this is going to be the last video here.
I feel like 24/7.
Privilege is in operation 24/7. Okay. Look at this chick. I mean, look at her. Just look at her. Look. She could be an extra on Frozen or something.
I've gotten pulled over before.
I've never got... I have privilege because I have never gotten pulled over.
But maybe you don't speed.
I've gotten pulled over. I drive too fast.
Well, hang on. But this actually isn't really a joke here, right? So she goes through the world saying to herself, as a white person, hey, I've never gotten pulled over before, so, man, that's an example of white privilege. It's like, no, hang on a minute. White people don't fall over. Like, you know what I mean? Stand up straight sometimes, damn it. Don't just buy into the narrative.
So I feel like I wouldn't have to think twice about if I were to get pulled over based off of the stories that I hear in the news.
Oh, you're not correct about that. I've seen pretty white girls in some of these videos get pulled over and get sassy with the fucking cop, and yeah, they get the taser, they get the smashing in the window. Like, I've seen pretty white girls. But again, it depends on how you interact with police officers sometimes.
About people of color getting pulled over compared to white people getting pulled over.
Okay, stories you hear on the news.
Anecdotes. Okay. Lecture in the pinned comment. Oh, well. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and kill that. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and finish my whiskey here. Ladies and gentlemen, feds and degenerates, thank you for stopping by here on Mild's Culture Plate. It's been a good one. Sorry, I know the YouTube Shorts Roulette isn't super entertaining, but you know, it's something. It's something we do here. It's something we do here when we've had a slower news week, when there's not something that needs some in-depth commentary. And I gave you a little bit of in-depth commentary. I gave you a lot of content today. Finish it off with something a little lighthearted. Thanks for stopping by. Again, if you want to contact me, there's a Facebook link and a Twitter link down in the description, along with the Rumble link. Go ahead, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. If you're watching this on Rumble later, because this is going to be archived to Rumble, give me a thumbs up there. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications here on YouTube. And, yeah, catch you next time here on Mild's Culture Plate. Take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your week. Enjoy your Thursday and Friday. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Spread some love. Spread some love. And, you know, again, remember, at least take a moment over the next couple days to remember the lives lost in Oklahoma, Waco, Columbine. And don't get any on you. If you do, rub it in real good. Catch you next time here on Mild's Culture Plate. See ya.